Right guys, welcome back to the Bigger Gentleman studio. Today we've got Mickey in the chair. How you doing?
Good, man.
Good mate, good. So what are we doing? What's the plan?
I grew my hair out about 10 years ago now, 10 years ago, and it was cool when I done it. It looked good and all of that, but as I've got a bit older, started losing it up here a little bit, started going back a bit here. It doesn't sort of have the body in it used to and that, and now when I'm going out and I have to style my hair, I just get angry. So it's time to cut it all off.
I remember those days, mate. Yeah, I remember that. Okay. Well, no, that makes sense. I mean, I can see your problem. What happens is, especially when you start to, like, say, recede or get a bit thinner somewhere, especially in these areas, it makes hair massive. Yeah. And it makes it really flat. Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. Okay, so what is it you're thinking of doing then? What is the sort of, what's your ideas?
So I can show you some pictures of me when I was a bit younger, because that's sort of what I've got as a reference. Now, what I see as the problem areas is this flailing out at the back here. And at the sides here, I've got these kind of like dry sort of frizzy bits that I can't do anything with. So I'm thinking something that's short here, so I don't, or something that gets rid of these issues here, and then something on top to keep it, you know.
And so do you want like volume on top? Do you want more?
I mean, I feel like
you could do with it though. I think face shape wise. And with having a beard as well, I feel like you need to balance that out.
I'm not sure, I mean, you know better than me, I'm not sure how much I can get because I feel like my hair's thin and I don't feel like I'm going to get a lot of body up there, but you know better than me. So
you'll be surprised.
But that's, so if I show you if I show you in my gallery here what I had before,
that's good,
it's not a million miles away. That was me, you know, going back
a moustache, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was me, and you can see, you know, that's sort of how I had it. Now, the sides are still quite long there, and they're pushed back. I'm not sure if I can still get that. But now I was looking at these kind of things here. Again, I'm not sure that I've got the body, and I'm very aware that these guys are dashingly good looking, and you know, so whether I can pull it off or not, I don't know. But you know, maybe something along those lines.
Okay. Yeah. Very different though. Very different, and they're extremely short. So I just want to obviously point that out. I know you've probably noticed that, but do you want to go short like that? Or is it more the top that you're liking to them haircuts then?
I mean, my main focus is, the top is what I like on them, and I want to get rid of what I just highlight, those problem areas. This kind of curls, so I've just washed it today, but this kind of curls here. I get these like ringlets in the side. So as short as I need to go so that these areas aren't an issue, and then the top I'd like some, like you said, I'd like a bit of body to it. I'm not really keen on pushing it forwards. No. I prefer having it sort of pushed back.
But you know, when you were mentioning before about the hairline, does that bother you?
In a sense, yeah, but I'm not sort of, if that's what it is, then let's go with it. You know, I'm not sort of like wanting to try and hide it or anything. That's kind of what my hair is. I don't really want to make a point of it. You know?
No, I get that. I get that.
Sort of do accept that I'm not a youngster anymore, and the hairline ain't what it used to be, you know?
Because the thing is, when you show photos from, like, say 10 years ago, for example, right? It's not just the hairline that changes, it's the density of the hair that can change, the texture of the hair that can change as well. So your hair looked a lot different in texture. I know you have product in it, but I could just kind of tell the difference of the texture. And again, when you do get a bit older, the sort of frizzy, wiry bits can come in as well, you know, because it just starts to lose its density. And the hair's old, essentially as well. So you've got to kind of work on building that up as well. Now, there are products you can use to rebuild that, you know, don't get me wrong. You can use like treatment masks, you can use, you know, you can get like actual treatments done in salons to help with that as well. Obviously medication can help with that as well. So if you want to rebuild the thickness of your hair, or you want to work on the texture of your hair as well, if you're taking some sort of medication, that would help too. So there are options to help with your hair. You don't always just have to like remove it. Do you get what I mean? So you don't just have to go, this is a problem area, let's get it gone. And then what happens is the minute we take the sides away, we've limited ourselves. You end up with a mullet. Little inside joke there. We're not doing a mullet, right? But I know exactly. I'm sorry. I had to throw it in there. It was playing on my mind. I had to say it. But yeah, so that's what happens. You take the sides away, you end up with loads of length at the back. Otherwise, you have to match the sides to the back. And then that way you're focusing just on the top. Now, one thing I would say, I feel like, if you don't mind me saying this, I do not mean to be offensive.
Go ahead.
They're a bit too young for you, them hairstyles.
And I'll be honest, I agree with you. When I was trying to find something to bring to show you, I was finding a lot, even when you Google sort of older men, short hairstyles, you get these young, dashing, good-looking guys who have dyed their hair grey. It's like,
that's very
you know
true,
what I mean? So it's a bit like, I struggled to find something that was sort of, I mean, then I was finding things like, you know, like Brad Pitt and, you know, these kind of people. And I was thinking, well, but, you know,
and again,
God knows what they're doing to their hair to get it like that.
But also, don't forget, you know, when you when you're rich and famous, you have the best chef, you have the best hairstylist, you have the best hair products, you have the best diet, everything like that massively helps. But all I was thinking was, I feel like the sides, I know they're frizzy and I know they're dry, right? But I feel like if I cut them to like even maybe like 2/3 off lengthwise, and give you something a bit sharper on the edges, I feel like that would balance so much nicer for your face shape. Right? But you've got a very good face shape. You're a good looking bloke. You've got a good, no, I think you are. I think you've got a good facial structure. The beard really helps with that. If you had volume and a slightly more squarer finish to your haircut, it would look completely different. I don't think you need to just have a quiff like that to get that. Okay. All right. Let me see if I can find a photo. So imagine that haircut, right? Yeah. Same kind of length on the sides. Yeah. So it's quite short. A bit tighter around the edges, so you're getting a bit more of a cleaner finish. That I think would be better and sharper. Yeah. And then having something along the lines of that on top where you can work with the haircut, we can get volume in it and you can have it just loose.
Well, to be honest, I looked at pictures like that, but the reason I didn't bring them is I just didn't think it was possible with my hair.
I think it is.
If you think you can do that, then I'm happy to go with that.
I think I can.
Yeah, okay, man.
Yes, I think I do. I think I can. And I think if we were to look at, because the thing is that it's the length on the top, right? That's the thing that gets the volume in it. Yeah. Now I can show you a really easy way to build volume. It's the simplest of ways, right? It's just you just have to put a heap of the product in there so you don't burn your hair, right? Because with your hair being like drier, you've got to be careful of that. So I'm going to put a couple of products on there just to counteract that, if that makes sense. But I genuinely think you get that because I feel like you've got a similar kind of vibe to him as well. You know what I mean? In terms of your look and everything like that. Your beard's longer. That's about it though. You know what I mean? But I think if we do something like that, I reckon we could definitely get away with it. Because I like the fact that, because if you look at his hairline, he has got a little bit of recession in there. Right? I hope he's not watching. But he has got a little bit of recession in there. You know, and that's why it's kind of falling down and it's kind of moving about. And I feel like that would benefit you quite a lot because, again, being realistic about our hairline, we need to be realistic about our hairline because you get the best haircut then. So if you're happy,
I'm good to go with that.
All right, cool, sweet. Right, well, let's get you gowned up and get started then.
Great stuff.
Sweet. Now you couldn't see that picture, could you?
No, that's what I was going to say. She ain't got a clue what's going on.
I think you'll be impressed.
We had a good discussion before we come in that she's not allowed to start shouting up her ideas.
You have an artist's eye. No, do you know what, right? I love your idea of the mullet. I do get where you're coming from, right? I do get it. But I just feel like that could be all the problems that Mickey's having now with his hair. That's just going to emphasise. So, shampooed, conditioned, ready to go. So, I'm going to start off by cutting in the shape. So, the back and sides. So, this is going to start off. Now, I'm not going to work it from the newer hairline. I'm going to work it from a little bit lower down. So again, if we look at the comb never lies, right? That's the angle we need to cut at. So that's why I was saying about going a bit shorter around the bottom here. Blend in nicely to this bit of the beard here, where it's a bit shallower, so we can blend that right in. But also that's the angle we need to cut at. So we need to kind of fill this gap when we style it. That's essentially what we're looking for, okay? So I'm going to start a bit lower down. So more at the round of the head more than the hairline, okay? The round of your head, and if anyone watching had to find the round of the head, get your comb, put it on the top, go to the side, and wherever it pivots, that's the round of the head. So more than, if you've got a client with a higher hairline, start at the round of the head, because it balances out a bit, the symmetry a bit more. So starting here, I'm going to weight this around, like so. I'm going to start off with palm to palm, to remove the length and build the shape. Then I'm going to work on clipper over comb, to taper the edges in, and then refinement scissor over comb. Top's the easiest part. The back and sides is the hardest bit, because that is, like I said, the foundation. This is the foundation builder. This is where the top will sit on to create that corner that we need to kind of frame the face. You can't build a house without a foundation, so it's the same as a good haircut. It's very hard to build a good haircut if you don't take the back and sides into consideration. I'm just going to wrap this away, just so this stays out the way, just like that. Now, starting palm to palm. So I'm going to go quite short with this, because I can. Because I know Mickey's hair will sit flat as it goes back, right? But by the shorter we go, the thicker that will become. The shorter we go here, that'll create the angle that we're looking for. Okay, I'm using that, I've got the picture in mind. I'm going to be using that picture as my guide and then working through. So, taking off, like I said, about 3/4 of the length off the back and sides, like that. And the beauty of this is, watch, it takes away all the frizz and just leaves it with a nice little tiny wave, which is what we want. We're speaking of hairline, when did you start to notice your hairline starting to recede a little bit and thin out?
You know, it was me son that pointed it out to me.
Savage.
So when my hair was long and it was sort of a decent texture now, I never used to tie it back.
Okay.
So I used to just sort of a little bit of oil and just push it back and it would sit nicely. And then I never noticed it sort of thinning out, and my son turned around to me and said to me one day, he said, "Dad, you've got an M on your head," you know, where it had gone back at the sides. And I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Look, your hair looks like a McDonald sign." I was like, "Wow, man." And
kids for you, eh?
Oh no, it was pretty brutal. And then
yeah.
I looked in the mirror and I was like, "Wow, he's made a good point there." And that's when I started noticing all of the hair sort of changing texture and,
oh, wow.
you know, the line going back and, you know, yeah, and that's when it started to be a bit like, I might have to consider a change here.
Okay. When was that? How long ago was that?
To be fair, it's probably it was over a year ago. It might have been 2 years ago now.
Oh, okay.
That he sort of first said it, and I've noticed it getting sort of going further and further back in a slow.
Yeah. So ever since then, you've become aware of it more.
That's it. Yeah. And sort of because the hair's changed and not doing what I want it to do anymore. So I tend to now just scoop it back and tie it in a ponytail.
Okay.
You know, and
I feel like you've given up a little bit, really.
Yeah. To be fair, I did. Yeah, it's like I work in construction, so during the day I've generally got a hard hat on.
Oh, okay.
So I never really need to concern myself with it.
Yeah.
It's only when I'm going out. And one thing I used to do was I used to sort of leave the lower part of the back down and then tie the rest up in sort of a small ponytail, almost like a Japanese loop sort of ponytail.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how I used to wear it. And it used to look good, but then with the thinning of the hair, it was really flat to the head. So it, you know, and the receding line really showed up.
Yeah.
And as I started doing that, and that's when I really got to a point where I was going. I mean, it was so just before Christmas, I had to go to an award ceremony, and I tarted myself up as you do, and fixed me hair, and then I look back at pictures, and I'm like, wow, like your forehead is really big.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you know what's worse as well? Like what loads of people always say, it's like you always end up, you know, you notice them in photographs more than you do, like, you know, just in the mirror kind of thing.
That's it,
and it's always when someone, you know, you always seem to be standing under a massive light that seems to shine directly on it, right?
Yeah, you get that big spotlight.
You get a big spotlight. It's almost like, thanks, that was just, you dragged me to that point just to look as though my hair's going.
That's it,
Even if it was only like a year, 2 years ago, that's quite an early spot, you know.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, would you ever consider doing anything about it? Would you ever consider, you know, like obviously we work closely with Manual, so have you ever considered talking to them and seeing if there's a treatment plan for you? Or
I mean, I would. I don't feel like I'm there quite yet, but I feel like there's a point where I would be like, okay, you know, I really need to do something. But then, you know, having said that, is prevention better than curing it later, you know? So it is sort of something. I mean, so what brings me here today is thinking a change of hairstyle might be the answer. Yeah. You know, and that was sort of why I ended up coming here today and seeing if we could change it and sort of make something. You know,
100%, yeah, well, yeah, of course, yeah, we can definitely do that. There's
make a silk purse out of that sow's ear sort of thing, you know.
But no, I think, prevention over cure is more of a thing, because if you stop it in its tracks, it's easier to stop and reverse than it is to grow back.
Okay, right?
That's the main thing. So if you lose, if the follicle is gone, the follicle's gone, right?
Yeah.
If you've noticed it getting a bit finer or the hairline's starting to change in shape, that's when you're probably best jumping on a call, and just having a consultation with them and just seeing what you think they could do. You know, if that is if you want to go down that route, obviously. Yeah. But it is always better to start sooner rather than later. Yeah. That's what every single client has told me. Yeah. Everyone who's been on it for a while and they've seen the results because they've been on it for a while, they've noticed that if they'd have went any later or any longer, it might not have looked the same, you know.
Right, yeah.
So it might just be worth looking into that if that is the route you want to go down.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, definitely, hopefully the haircut gives you a bit more, you know, gives you a bit more confidence, leads your life a little bit more, makes you enjoy styling your hair again, you know.
Yeah, that's it,
you know, you stop enjoying it. Yeah. Because you were just like, it almost sounds like it was a bit of a means to an end in the end, really, having that longer hair.
Yeah, see, I mean, you sort of like, you know, my whole image was based around my hair. Yeah. You know, so, I mean, you see the way I was dressed when I come in here today. Black t-shirt, leather jacket sort of thing.
Leather jacket, yeah.
Outside of that, I also sort of tend to do a bit of what I call sort of a cowboy look.
Oh, yeah.
So it's sort of a waistcoat with a shirt, sleeves pulled up, you know, and I wear a Stetson and stuff like that. And that looked okay with the hair out the back of it. It didn't look too bad.
Yeah.
But you know, when I didn't have the hat on, or when I was going for a different look on that day, there was sort of nothing fit.
Yeah. Do you know what, right? I mean, if you look at the modern day cowboy,
yeah.
If we're talking about, like, say, country music kind of guy, Morgan Wallen, and you know, people like that, it's not the long hair anymore.
No,
it's very much about like Jordan Davis. Have you heard of him?
No.
He's a very famous country and western singer now, like a modern day one.
Yeah.
And he's got a quiff and a beard. You know what I mean? He just wears the kind of cowboy kind of gear.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But he got like I'm sure he's one of his pictures of his album is like short back and sides of the quiff. You know what I mean? And the beard. So you know, I get the look you're going for, but the look a lot of the time is in the clothing and the dress, right? It's not necessarily in the hair. The hair's a good add-on, don't get me wrong, especially in country and cowboy kind of stuff. But I feel like you could still get that look without the haircut being like that, if you know what I mean. I feel like you know, if you throw a hat on and you're getting the little flicks at the bottom, but you know, I feel like you could get that anyway without having the flicks. I feel like the flicks would be a good little add-on, but they're not.
Yes.
They don't make the look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So here's where we're starting to work on the clipper over comb now. So you can see I'm building up that weight here and that fullness, and then cutting that right in. So that's going to build up head shape at the back, right? Again, this haircut's going to be coming back and a bit loose and a bit lived in, so we don't want to take away this bit. That's got to flow from the top into the back so it all balances out. But again, that's the back that we're working on. Then as we get to the sides, this is the transition point here, where we work into the sides. Keeping some length at the top up there, and then working tighter towards the ears. Now this is where it frames the face, okay? This is the thing that changes the look, okay? Because we're building up on the face shape. Now, you know, the canvas is Mickey's face, right? That's what we're working on. Now this is all just a little bit of framing that goes around it, right? This is the thing that you hang on the wall, right? We want this to balance and match and make sure it holds up. That's what we want to do. So we're working on, there's my guides at the top that I'm working from. I'm getting closer and closer towards the bottom. So getting here, and getting rid of all them problem areas. Like the hair texture doesn't even look the same, Mickey. You know, now we've gone shorter, it doesn't even look the same. It looks completely different.
Yeah?
You haven't got all that frizz and all the dryness now. It looks really healthy.
Oh, good.
Which is the main thing we want to try and achieve.
Yeah. That's the thing that used to drive me mad.
Yeah.
Just make me take a pair of scissors to it, you know,
sort
of style my hair and then try and go along with scissors, cutting off all the problem bits, you know.
Yeah, I'd never advise that.
No, I made a mistake a few times, and
I wouldn't even do it on myself, you know, honestly. Yeah. And I do this job, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I found a sort of a good 6-inch lump falling out. And
like, God. Oh. Yeah. Do you know, can I ask you a question, right? You know, a professional question, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously we get the DIY haircuts in here, right? Some are good, some are not so good, put it nicely.
Yeah.
What do you like when you go around to people's houses or you go and do something in your line of work and people have done it themselves? Is it the same feeling I get? And you're like, why? You know?
I mean, we smile along and they go, look, I hung my own door, and you go, oh I see what you've done there, yeah. But, you know, to yourself, you're going like, wow. You know, so,
yeah. Okay, I was just making sure it was the kind of same thing, because DIY is across the board, right? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, so you get it a lot when people go, oh, like, I've done this myself, or I've done that myself, or, you know, I put these shelves up myself, and you're like, wow, like, you know, people do some funny things.
Yeah, I never forget, like, I've had a few clients come in to see me, like, you know, they've been really impatient growing the hair out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they've, like, cut their own hair. I think we had one on the channel years ago where he wanted a side part and he cut the length in a chunk right on where the parting was. Yeah. So it just stuck up. Yeah. And I was like, oh, no way, because that was exactly where, if it was the other side, I probably could have, like, disguised it. But he cut it, like, I think it was right, wasn't it? He cut, like, 4 days before he came in to see us. I was like, why? Why have you done that? But no, it's funny, isn't it? I mean, people will always be people though, right? They'll always do it. So it's just a way of managing it, right?
Well, I normally get the missus, when it gets a bit too long, I normally get the missus say, look, just take an inch off the bottom. Now, my hair springs back a lot. So when it's wet, it's long. Yeah. And then I says to her, right, look at it now, and then I'm going to wet it, and then just cut an inch off. and she cuts it and it dries, and I end up looking like a 50s housewife, where it sort of comes just at my chin line, just at my jawline, and sort of flicks up at the bottom, and it's like, what, like...
Well,
that's happened a few times.
Do you know what, right? It's hair. If hair was so easy to do, there wouldn't be a 3-year apprenticeship, right?
That's it. So I always say that if there's somebody that exists that does that job that you can go and pay to do it, there's a reason that they exist.
Yeah.
They exist because not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
You know, because if everybody could do it, there wouldn't be a job. You know, people would just do it.
This the opening to the real list.
You know,
this is the opening to the real. I'm going to put... Can I use that soundbite just for my website? Is that right?
You know, there's a reason your job exists, is because you can't do it yourself.
100%. 100,000,000%. I've got the thought process, like, you know, if I need something doing, I'm not going to do it myself. You know what I mean? 'Cause that's not my skill set whatsoever, you know? But then some people just got a real dab hand at, like, being good at everything, though, aren't they? Like, they can do loads of things themselves, which you're like, wow, didn't think you'd be able to do that. But they are very rare.
Yes,
they are very rare. The majority is, what you've just said then, pay someone to do it.
Yeah. Well, I get a lot of people in my job, a lot of people who talk to me about my job, they're in awe of what I do.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, it's just a job, and it's, you know, the enjoyment sort of, you know, I like going to work, but it's just a job.
Yeah.
And they question me, like, go out for drinks with people, and they're like, what do you do? So my background trade is I started out in a joinery shop.
Oh, wow.
So I was a joiner, doing shop fittings and, you know, making bespoke kitchens and stuff like that.
Wow.
So people love it if you can make something out of wood.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So then I get all these questions about, like, how'd you do this and would you do that? And, you know, a few of our friends have all been on, like, woodworking courses to sort of, you know, and these are all city boys who work in finance and stuff like that, and they all want to, you know, learn how to make something out of a piece of wood.
So I've done the clipper over comb. Now I'm just doing a bit of trimmer over comb, right? I'm just sharpening up the edges. Again, I'm not going like mega short. We just want, you know, we want to balance in the top. So I don't want to put like a fade in there or anything like that. I just want to put a nice clean finish. So something that's nice and smart. This is not about drawing the attention away from what I've done. I don't want to put a fade in there to draw all the attention away from every single bit of work I've done. Palm to palm, texturizing, shape, movement, flow, everything that's going to come through with this haircut. If I was to put a fade in there, it'd look great. Yeah, it'd be aesthetically pleasing. It'd look great on a photo. In reality, it just draws all the attention away from what we've been trying to do with the shape and the sides. So this is the reason why I'm doing it. Now, I'm not saying it does that on every haircut, but I just feel like for Mickey's haircut, that's what that would do. So that's why I'm doing a bit more there, a more tailored kind of bespoke finish on this as well. So again, freehand tapering, so it just goes nice and neat down the bottom. But again, not on that kind of really short that draws the attention away from a distance. So I don't want it to be like when we step away, it's just like skin, you know, it's, you see the movement with your fingers, you see everything falling in, flowing through the haircut. And just detailing the edges here. Again, I'm not doing anything too like sharp or anything like that. Again, just falling into the beard. The beard's got like a nice sharpness to it, but it's not mega drawn on looking, so I don't want to do the same thing at the top. I'll balance that into the beard. And then we just get a little bit of a tapering done just here, because obviously through the sideburns, a bit like mine, it gets a bit sort of shallower on the hair growth just here. So I think the shorter you go, it looks more purposefully like that. I'm just tapering this in a touch tighter around the edges, just because I want to get that shape sitting in there and for it to match up as well. Let's taper this in now as well. Let's pull it back. Look at the movement we've got sitting through there, and look at the shape it's building up through that corner there. That's what I've been looking for, okay? Got all that movement, all that flow. If I'd have put a fade or something too heavily tight in there, I think we would have lost that. I think I would have been kind of lost with the rest of the haircut. So that's why I kind of worked on that kind of natural taper more than anything else. Now, top. So, let's comb this out. So, the way horizontal sections from above the round of the head. This is going to create that corner that we're looking for. Pull it out, and match to the underneath. So have you been using any styling products or anything on your hair?
Not for a while.
No. What did you used to use?
So I used to use like wax, but more like the putty sort of wax, the soft waxes. Well, gel was always a bit too heavy.
Yeah.
And I tried sort of everything, and but I settled on sort of those because they keep your hair. It doesn't flatten your hair,
Yeah, keeps the volume, keeps the shape.
I'm a bit habitually run my fingers through my hair quite a lot, so I needed something that would let me do that without losing the style constantly, and 100%. Having to reapply. So now all I do is so I oil my beard a lot, and I tend to sort of put a bit of beard oil through my hair as well, and it gets a bit uncontrollable when it's lost. When it's just washed, it gets a bit frizzy and a bit too much volume, and I prefer it, a couple of days after washing it, it tends to sort of ease up a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's a bit more manageable, so I try to encourage the oils into it, Well,
it's probably been a while since you had the length for it, right?
Yes,
especially shorter, So I'll bear that in mind in terms of that kind of effect that you like, that kind of want to run your hands through your hair, that kind of thing. But yeah, no, I think just having a product that's going to be easy for you to maintain the haircut with and stuff, I think you've got to go down that route, because it will be a very different look now, obviously be a very different approach to your hair.
Yeah.
Even down to using oils in your hair and stuff. I wouldn't use them before you're about to style your hair.
Yes,
because the product won't take to the hair. It'll just get lost in the oil.
Yeah.
So you won't get the true sort of finish of the product that you want to get.
Yeah.
So if I was you, I'd just use oils overnight.
Yeah.
Before you go to bed or something like that. That's when probably when I'd use an oil. All right. Right. Take the top down now. Working from the corner. Nice simple connection through here. Upper head shape. Finally, into the front. Take the fringes down, connect it in. Just connecting that into the sides there like that. Right. So to finish off, I'm going to dry this off now, okay? Put serum in here to start with. Now serums are great for like that restoring, back that kind of, take away the frizz and restore it back to a nice healthy finish, right? Put them when it's towel dried, right? It goes very natural, almost makes like a thicker appearance.
Yeah.
Right? High speed, high heat. Apply loads of heat to this. Blast it back, right? Yeah. Now by me drying it from one side to the other, what I'm doing is I'm breaking out your natural growth pattern. So you've had that sort of centre part almost in there for ages, like swept back. I'm getting rid of that. Well, you can get in the top. So again, I don't mean volume, I don't mean I just mean something that lifts a bit off the head, that frames the face a bit more. Now, what I would like you to do now is just feel the difference in your hair texture. Just have a feel of it. What's in it?
It feels different.
Does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Soft.
So I thought it would be like here.
No.
Like when you cut it short, I was thinking I was going to get this flat,
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It does the opposite. Okay, gives, plus, when you apply heat in some products to it, I mean, your hairline looks straight, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't, again, I'm not looking for something you need to kind of like try and hide it with. I just want to give you something that looked a bit lived in, a bit more movement, a bit filled out the face a bit more, That's all I was trying to go for you. But again, volume in terms of something that's just got a bit of height to it. Nothing that's like, not like mine where it kind of stands right up, just something that's going to give you a little bit of a natural thing that you can achieve yourself. It just gives you a little bit of volume, a little bit of movement like that. And that's it before you even put any product in, don't forget. So when you apply the product's going to be even better, right? So, a little bit of paste. This is just a finisher, okay? So pea size amount. What we do, way through the sides and the back first, through our fingers, like that, through there like that, and through there like that, just to coat them little sides, and then work it into the top. Like this, and you work it forwards. On volume, you go against the way we've just dried it.
Okay.
And then you more height, right?
Yeah.
And then you bring it back. So you're basically just putting the product going forwards, and then the rest of the hair just falls on top, right? And then you just style the way you want, essentially. I just think you want it quite lived in. I think you do a bit of texture, a bit of movement in there, something that gives you a nice finish. Just something a bit like that, something very lived in. And I think with what you're wearing and stuff like that, I think this haircut goes really well with it as well. I think it gives you a very nice, natural finish. I think it's really age appropriate. I think it suits you loads. The main thing is though, it's the face shape builder. That's the thing I want to do, build that face shape in there as well.
Yeah.
And work with the way the hair naturally wants to fall. Your hair naturally wants to fall like this. I've not done anything to your hair to make it not fall like this. This is just where you're at in your hair stage now, is that you've got a bit of a wave to your hair. You've got a bit of, you know, you can get the volume in there, but it's a nice texture as well. That's kind of it. Happy?
Yeah, definitely.
Looks nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So it's not a million miles away from you brushing your hair back.
Yeah, no,
it just gives you, it's just a slightly different twist on it that works for the face shape. That's genuinely all I wanted to give you.
I didn't think my hair would do this. Yeah. That's what I was sort of like, you know.
But I didn't use a brush.
Gel it up in the air sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, of course,
I didn't think it would sort of...
Yeah, I get it. You see, so everything looks nice and full.
No ponytail.
No ponytail, no mullet.
No mullet, yeah.
In there. But you see, it's just got a nice shape to it.
Yeah, it is lovely.
You know what I mean? Nothing's drawing one bit towards any, like, you know, I'm not saying, let's draw it towards the sides, let's draw it towards the back. I'm just drawing it towards the haircut, which is the thing that I think works the best for you.
Nice.
Cool, then.
Lovely.
Thanks, man.
Job. Great.
What do you think?
You know, I was just going to say, it's such a good mixture, a perfect balance of style and natural.
Yeah.
Like, it does not look manufactured to the point at which he walks out and 2 minutes down the road, it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
He's going to, this is so good. And you were fantastic to, like, watch. It was so interesting. Very, very riveting.
Thank you.
Actually, something I never said. What I should have said at the beginning, but I never was. I want something that looks sort of natural, not.
It's beautiful.
Not.
It really is.
I didn't want it to look massively styled. And
of course,
this sort of looks like. It does look natural. It does look,
That was really beautiful to listen to. How you walked through it.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you look at this is both.
Yeah.
It's wabi-sabi. It's got that mix.
Wabi-sabi.
Yeah, it is.
I like that.
It's beautiful.
I'm gonna use
it's
that.
beautifully done at the back. You know, you can't. I don't think you can see how beautifully crafted it on the back.
Yeah, it's the shape in it at the back. Yeah, it's the shape that way it all falls in. Right. Yeah. I want you to see it obviously with the gown off, because then that way it's more you. Then the gown kind of hides it a little bit because obviously you're under a gown, right? Yeah. But that's kind of you in your dress, right? Your t-shirt. It's the sort of stonewashed denim jeans with the high tops on. Plain black t-shirt with something that's stylish, not overly crafted, not overly kind of done, if you know what I mean, but then because it matches the beard, again the face shape, the flatness, when you see the before and after shot, you'll see exactly where I'm coming from, right? It's that flat and loads of hair here. You know what I mean?
Which is what I hated about it.
Where now you've just got something that is just so easy to do. I didn't do anything then that I honestly don't think you can do yourself. Happier?
Yeah, great. And then, as you say, age appropriate as well. I'm well happy with that.
Yeah.
That's cutting the ponytail off and not really knowing what you're coming in for, and that's what I would have chose if I'd realised that this is what it looked like. This is exactly what I would have gone for.
Sometimes it's hard to picture it, you know what I mean? It's very hard to, for me to say to you, oh, this is how it's meant to go, or this is what it's going to look like. It's until you do it and you're like, yeah, that's it. That's the one, you know? Thanks, man. Thank you very much.
Great stuff.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.